When criminal allegations threaten careers, early defense strategy matters. Allegations of crimes made in public may change your career overnight. For business owners, licensed professionals, people in authority, or those who present themselves to the public, an arrest or investigation is not merely legal but also affects one's reputation for years to come. In Seattle and across Washington, early legal intervention often determines whether a case quietly resolves or becomes a career-defining crisis. A seasoned Seattle criminal defense attorney understands that protecting professional reputation legal case concerns must begin on day one. For individuals whose licenses, businesses, or public standing are at risk, professional criminal defense requires more than courtroom skill. It requires strategic foresight. The immediate fallout of public allegations in today's digital environment, allegations can spread before formal charges are filed. Arrest records appear online. Media outlets report based on limited information. Search engine results may display booking photos or headlines long before any judicial findings. For physicians, attorneys, financial advisors, educators, and corporate leaders, this visibility can trigger parallel consequences. Clients withdraw. Employers initiate internal investigations. Licensing boards open disciplinary inquiries. The harm often begins before a court evaluates the evidence. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, many criminal cases are dismissed or resolved without conviction. Yet reputational damage can linger even where charges are reduced or dropped. That is why early Washington defense strategy matters. Due process and the presumption of innocence. The presumption of innocence remains a cornerstone of American law. However, public opinion does not always wait for due process to unfold. A Seattle criminal defense attorney representing professionals must protect both the legal record and the narrative surrounding it. Early steps may include reviewing probable cause, examining the conduct of law enforcement, and identifying constitutional violations. Suppression motions, pre-filing advocacy, and early engagement with prosecutors can sometimes prevent formal charges. This approach reflects a principle emphasized in legal practice. Strategy begins at the outset of a case, not on the eve of trial. In litigation matters, understanding the other side's perspective is critical to shaping a strong defense. Licensing boards and parallel proceedings. For licensed professionals, a criminal investigation rarely stands alone. Licensing authorities may initiate separate proceedings based solely on an arrest. Medical boards, bar associations, and regulatory agencies operate under their own standards. In some cases, they require disclosure of investigations even before charges are resolved. A professional criminal defense plan must account for these overlapping systems. Failure to coordinate responses can create inconsistent statements or admissions that complicate the criminal case. An experienced attorney evaluates how testimony, public statements, and administrative filings may affect each forum. The goal is alignment. A Washington defense strategy must consider courtroom litigation and regulatory exposure simultaneously. Media coverage and online visibility. Media reporting can amplify risk. Even a brief mention in a local outlet may appear in search results for years. In Seattle's active business environment, where entrepreneurs and executives operate in close networks, visibility can affect investor confidence and partnerships. This is particularly relevant in metropolitan regions such as Seattle and the greater Puget Sound area, which serve as fertile ground for business activity. Professionals in such environments often rely on trust and reputation as core business assets. Strategic defense planning may include measured public communication. While attorneys do not litigate cases in the press, they may advise clients on appropriate statements that preserve legal rights without escalating attention. The balance requires discipline. Overreaction can intensify scrutiny. Silence without planning can allow misinformation to dominate. Early case assessment and risk analysis. Every case begins with facts. Effective professional criminal defense involves breaking down allegations into elements and identifying what evidence supports each claim. This structured approach mirrors a broader litigation principle. Outline each element and determine which facts correspond to each requirement. When conducted early, this analysis clarifies strengths, weaknesses, and potential exposure. For professionals, risk analysis extends beyond sentencing guidelines. It includes employment contracts, partnership agreements, licensing standards, and public reporting obligations. An early assessment can inform decisions about plea negotiations, trial posture, or diversion programs. Importantly, clients must understand the timeline and financial realities of a case. Criminal proceedings often move slowly. Transparent communication builds trust and prevents misunderstanding. Strategic communication and documentation. Clear documentation is a hallmark of sound legal practice. In high-stakes matters, every significant decision should be confirmed in writing. Effective communication reduces later disputes and protects both attorney and client. Expectations, authorized actions, and settlement parameters must be recorded to prevent confusion. For professionals, documentation may also include internal compliance steps. Demonstrating proactive corrective measures can influence prosecutorial discretion and regulatory review. Precision matters. In legal advocacy, unnecessary wordiness weakens clarity. Complex issues can often be explained in straightforward language. This discipline supports effective representation before judges, boards, and opposing counsel. The human dimension of high-stakes cases. Criminal allegations do not occur in isolation. They affect families, employees, and communities. Business owners may worry about payroll. Physicians may fear for patients. Executives may consider shareholder impact. An experienced criminal defense attorney recognizes these pressures. Leadership in legal practice requires steadiness and candor. Clients seek knowledgeable counsel who communicates clearly without exaggeration. In Seattle, David Ruzumna has represented individuals facing complex legal disputes for decades. Through the law office of David Ruzumna, PLLC, he works with professionals navigating high-stakes legal matters. His approach emphasizes careful listening, strategic assessment, and respect for client decision-making. Clients ultimately determine how to proceed. An attorney's role is to ensure those decisions are informed and realistic. Professional criminal defense beyond the courtroom. Protecting professional reputation. Legal case outcomes often requires coordination beyond criminal court. Defense counsel may engage with employers, insurance carriers, or regulatory agencies. In some situations, early mitigation efforts reduce collateral consequences. For example, demonstrating compliance reforms or voluntary counseling may influence prosecutorial decisions. While such measures do not concede guilt, they can show accountability and foresight. A Washington defense strategy must remain consistent across forums. Statements made in one setting can affect credibility in another. That is why strategic planning at the earliest stage is essential. Dave Ruzumna. Seattle practitioners note that disciplined preparation and steady communication are central to effective advocacy. His practice reflects a commitment to clarity, professionalism, and deliberate strategy. The role of mentorship and experience. Experienced counsel often draws on years of courtroom observation and judicial service. Exposure to different perspectives enhances strategic judgment. David Ruzumna's background includes service as a judge pro tem in Washington courts. That experience informs his understanding of how judges evaluate credibility, evidence, and argument. Listening, restraint, and measured speech are qualities respected in court. As noted in legal practice guidance, strong advocates focus on the kernel of a case and build a clear narrative. For professionals confronting criminal allegations, that narrative must address not only legal defenses but the broader context of their careers and conduct. Balancing fairness and accountability. Criminal defense does not excuse misconduct. It ensures fairness. In high-profile cases, public reaction can overshadow evidence. A Seattle criminal defense attorney serves as a safeguard against premature judgment. Fairness requires examining law enforcement conduct, testing witness credibility, and insisting on proof beyond a reasonable doubt. It also requires honest conversations with clients about risk. Stoicism and decisiveness support effective leadership in legal representation. Professionals facing allegations need steady counsel capable of evaluating options without panic. Through the law office of David Ruzumna, PLLC, David Ruzumna provides representation grounded in due process and strategic foresight. His work as Dave Ruzumna Seattle Defense Counsel reflects an understanding that careers, families, and reputations often hang in the balance. Protecting long-term reputation. Even after a case concludes, reputation management may continue. Expungement, record sealing, and careful digital review can reduce long-term visibility of dismissed charges. Professionals must also consider rebuilding trust with clients and colleagues. Transparent communication, consistent performance, and ethical conduct support recovery. Criminal allegations can disrupt a career. They do not have to define it. Why early strategy determines outcomes when allegations arise. Acting quickly is essential. Thus, hiring a lawyer early on helps to investigate before any potential evidence disappears or any escort narratives become fully established. Additionally, strategic planning to develop a criminal defense prior to any type of charges being filed will allow you to influence how the authorities decide to charge you, how the regulatory agencies will respond, and how much media coverage you may receive. A professional criminal defense attorney works proactively instead of reactively. Having a Washington criminal defense strategy that has been developed in a measured and educated manner will protect more than just a criminal record. It will also protect the professional reputation that you worked very hard to build. If you are in Seattle and facing serious allegations, contacting a skilled criminal defense lawyer in Seattle is an important first step to helping you protect both your freedom and your career.